Greetings shippers, welcome back, and it's time to take a look at a pairing whose shippers feel it is finally getting its time in the sun. We're going to be taking a look at WinterFalcon, the pairing of Falcon, Sam Wilson, and Bucky Barnes, the Winter Soldier. These two had an interesting genesis. Before we get started, if you haven't already, please follow on social media to stay up to date, know when we're streaming, and just come on over and chit chat about fandom. It's a good time, I swear. Now, let's talk about WinterFalcon and answer the pressing question. Can you move your seat up? When it comes to shipping WinterFalcon, like many ships at the time of this recording, the first thing to come to the minds of many are the characters from the MCU. Falcon and Bucky both have a rich history with Captain America in the comics, Bucky being there from the 40s, though not in the form most fans recognize him in today. In fact, the Winter Soldier story arc, which reintroduced Bucky as an adult and brought him back to life during the Ed Brubaker run, only occurred in 2005, which in comic terms is very recent, which means at the time of this recording, he's only had 14 years to build up a rapport with other characters, which he has managed to do. One of those is Falcon. Both have taken on the mantle of Cap and have a mutual respect for the other. However, when it came to shipping the two, the majority of shippers were galvanized by the MCU, and not exactly by a film either. In terms of these characters' introduction to each other, they first crossed paths in 2014's Captain America: The Winter Soldier, a film which sets up each character's importance to Cap, though Bucky would leave the more lasting impression with the fandom, and the film would catapult the pairing of Stucky, Steve and Bucky, into the limelight, and ultimately, some would come to feel that Sam Wilson was being erased, or just not being given his due, while others felt that he simply didn't make that much of an impression. However, some did begin to ship WinterFalcon from this point, a lot of it pre-Slash style works, the two feeling each other out, trying to get used to each other since Cap is so fond of the other, and finding they actually like each other. However, where these two would find themselves gathering shippers was in the lead up to Captain America: Civil War, on the press tour, which would influence how some saw the film itself. We have talked about Marvel ships on this channel for years, and one factor that has made MCU shipping unique is the amount of influence the press tour, interviews, and extra non-source based material surrounding actor interaction have on the fandom and its transformative works. The chemistry between actors and how they riff off each other on tours has boosted ships, been used as inspiration for fics, as have pictures been used for fan art. And in the case of WinterFalcon, the excellent chemistry between Mackie and Sebastian Stan managed to launch a ship. These two work quite well together in interviews, with jokes, banter, and good-natured ribbing present throughout. In fact, for some, this has launched into an RPF.
He cleans up pretty well, doesn't he?
Yeah, I know. I don't always look homeless. He does. But it is those steel blue eyes let you know where home is. You know what I'm talking about? That's my safe place.
Who from Team Cap would you pick in real life to have your back?
I mean, I probably would have to say him.
I'm not saying you, dog, so don't say me.
Why aren't you looking at me as much in these interviews? I keep talking. Every time I look at you, you just keep looking forward.
I can't look at you, man. You stay on your side of the room, I stay on my side of the room.
These interactions, alongside some leaked set photos of the two in costume during a chase scene, work together to help certain fans form a headcanon for what these two's relationship would be like, and to further extrapolate upon their romantic dynamics. The conclusion: these two would snipe at each other, but have each other's backs through thick and thin, and woe onto the person who tried to mess with or bring down one of them in the other's presence. Or at all. These interactions allowed people to begin to build a fanon bridge with these characters, as did the Ant-Man post-credit sequence that established Steve, Sam, and Bucky as occupying the same space. Fans began to create domestic Avengers-style fare, bringing Sam and Bucky into the fold. In many of these fics, these two would find each other as Bucky healed. After the release of Civil War, affirmed what many fans had been expecting of these two. They came off as put-upon friends who actually underneath it all could grow to be quite close, or rather people who were starting to become friends. The "Can you move your seat up" scene is remembered fondly by many WinterFalcon shippers.
Can you move your seat up? No.
It was also a catalyst for many fics about these two pining and finding solace in each other, or realizing they were what the other was looking for all along. Both classic tropes. This being because of the much maligned Steve-Sharon kiss. The funeral flirting has gone down in infamy. Civil War was a marker in the MCU in many ways, and it was also one in the fandom, as it shifted the landscape, which in 2016 when the film was released was already subtly shifting. Civil War divided many fans into camps, Team Cap or Team Iron Man, Stucky or Stony, etc. There was much character bashing and many elaborate fix-its. However, some wanted to steer clear of all that, and certain smaller ships had a bit of a boost because of it, one being WinterFalcon, though the tone shifted slightly from the more light-hearted domestic fare of the press tour, though some would maintain that element, and this pairing for some was the last bastion of a simpler time. So what drew people to these two outside of the circumstances? First, let us quickly meet the players. First up, Sam Wilson. Loyal and focused, Sam is a steadfast friend and an asset on any mission. Once attached to someone, he sticks with them no matter what, and is determined to get to the bottom of mysteries. Despite his dedication to whatever mission he is on, he has a zeal for life and an affinity for pop culture, and can laugh at himself, and has a hidden snarky sense of humor. His great regrets are harming others and not being able to help. Falcon didn't quite take off as a character the way the MCU seemed to have planned, with some finding him ineffectual, particularly after he was taken out by Ant-Man. Others felt that he was boring, though some felt it was through no fault of his own. He was simply overshadowed by more charismatic characters with more dramatic arcs, one of those being Bucky. The Winter Soldier is trouble. Once Steve Rogers' his best friend, Bucky has been taken apart by Hydra, transformed into a killing machine, brainwashed to near insanity. Bucky is only just beginning to remember his past, but still struggles to form a full connection to it. He strives to atone for what he has done and find peace with himself and the world. At times, the sardonic firm friend he was dominates his personality. At other times, his traumas take hold. And through it all, he is still Steve's best friend. For shippers, these two matched well, and they felt Sam would have the patience to help Bucky recover, but without the burden of expectation some fans felt Steve would place on Bucky to be exactly who he was before. They felt that Sam could help get Bucky up to date and provide him with a safe, fun, non-judgmental partner, that the two had matching senses of humor and would pull fun pranks on the other, that Bucky would be loyal and protective and look out for Sam in ways that no other person had before, and would appreciate him more than others did too, seeing the potential in him just as he had once seen in Steve, that these two could form their own identities and lives outside of Steve and learn hidden secrets and quirks about the other that may surprise people. A ship built on support and a love of normalcy, with some action and adventure thrown in. And of course, there were ways to make it dark for those who preferred that style of fare. Some loved it because it freed Steve up to be with some of their favorite ships, such as Stoney or Steve and Nat. And there were of course those who were working through an OT3 with Sam, Bucky, and Steve. Now, some accomplished all of this by creating AUs that just didn't deal with Civil War events at all, and the bouncing off of a crush from Steve angle was ever prominent. Also, the two having to team up to save Cap was a popular getting together mechanism as well. This ship is a small one, gaining less traction even than what some would consider more perplexing ships, such as Winter Iron, the pairing of Tony Stark and Bucky Barnes, which even managed to survive Civil War. So what is it that didn't appeal about these two to certain shippers? Well, Bucky was firmly attached to the mega ship that is Stucky, to the point where certain shippers had blinders on in terms of considering other pairings, or simply felt that was the best pairing. Some were even convinced it was going to be canon, though others were content to live in fanon, knowing that comic canon ships would ultimately be the ones depicted. For others, as mentioned, it was a Sam Wilson thing. For a time, and even at the time of this recording, though it is easing and some are more apt to come to Sam's defense, it was quite popular to make fun of Falcon, or dislike the character. As a result, some didn't consider pairing him, let alone with Bucky, though of course there are those who don't like Bucky either, though sometimes they feel the need to hide, as Bucky is very much a fandom favorite. Others missed the ship's genesis, which as mentioned occurred largely outside of canon, so some never saw the potential or the chemistry people were talking about, and found the two's canon interactions to be bitter and tinged with jealousy. Some felt it was potentially because these two are an interracial pairing, which trends towards being less shipped, and indeed may be a factor for a subset of shippers. However, others pointed to Bucky's other pairings with characters such as T'Challa or Shuri, and countered that these two simply hadn't connected as much as other characters, and didn't share the same history in canon or comics as Bucky with some of the other characters, though mileage varies on the latter. All of this coupled with the general apathy towards Sam for some guaranteed this pair's lack of popularity. These two also passed each other quite quickly canonically, at least at the time, with Bucky whisked off to Wakanda, so some shippers felt the pairing was a lot of effort and involved removing both plot and character obstacles. However, for shippers of this pairing, this ship may be due for a huge spike, thanks to some new developments, new at the time of this recording, in the MCU and Disney. Post-Endgame, the canonical tables have shifted, and left Sam and Bucky alone together in the present. There is some confusion between writers and directors as to whether old Cap is a permanent fixture in the MCU universe, but either way, that dynamic has changed, and Bucky and Sam are slated to have a TV series together on Disney streaming service Disney+. Some feel that this will be Winter Falcon's time to shine, and the fics about Sam mending Bucky's broken heart or the two moving on together have already begun. And of course, some believe that the two bonded deeply in the Soul Stone. Whether or not that actually happened is of course fanon prerogative. Plus, these two continue to interview well together. For those who enjoy these two characters, the future looks ready to have more moments, and with appreciation for Sam growing, or those who always appreciated him more willing to speak out, it could prove to be this new Cap's time to shine. Though of course, time will tell. And whether or not Winter Falcon becomes a huge ship or not, it is still very appreciated by those who enjoy it. There to discover for those who are curious, and of course, multi-shippers ahoy. Are you a Winter Falcon shipper? If so, when did you jump on board? Did Endgame push these two together for you? Just in general, how have you felt about these two's character growth, and how some fans treat Sam Wilson? Answer as much as you can, numbered if possible, because you know I love a good essay comment. As always, thanks so much for taking some time out of your day to spend it discussing shipping with me. I always appreciate it. It's cathartic doing all these Marvel ships. I feel like I'm crossing things off my list, my never-ending list of ships, ever growing. If you haven't already, please do subscribe and hit that bell notification so that you never miss a vid. I will see you all again when I can, and until then, let's get to that outro. Bye-bye. This has been Shipper's Guide to the Galaxy. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Special thanks to all of my patrons, names on the side, for helping to make these videos possible. There are, as always, more videos coming soon, so until then, stay tuned, for there are as many ships out there as there are stars in the sky.